Welcome to Cinema Prescriptions. My name is Davonte, and today we will be taking a look at Disney's The Eternals. So let's get into it. So the synopsis for this film is The Eternals, a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have secretly lived on the earth for thousands of years, reunite to battle the evil deviants. So the Eternals consist of Cersei, who can manipulate inanimate objects by touching them, so she can turn like stone into water or things like that. We also have Icarus, who can fly and shoot cosmic rays from his eye. And we also have Kingo, who can shoot cosmic projectiles from his hands, stuff like that. We have Makari, who can run super fast. We have Druid, who can manipulate others' minds. Gilgamesh, who is the strongest Eternal, so he's like a Hercules type guy. And we have Ajax, who can heal herself, and she's also the leader of the Eternals. We also have Thena, so she can produce any kind of weapon she wants to from cosmic energies. So she can produce a spear, she can use an axe, a sword, whatever she wants to, she can make.
We also have Festus, who is an intelligent creator and inventor. There is also Sprite, who can make these lifelike illusions and project them into the real world, and those confuse whoever she wants them to confuse, basically.
So we have a lot of people on here. They're mostly based on different mythologies. We have Gilgamesh, I forgot which civilization he's from. Thena's based on Athena from Greek mythology. We have Icarus, who was in the Greek mythology where he flew too close to the sun after escaping from prison and he fell to his death, stuff like that. The Eternals were sent from, I think, a different planet. Their master, I guess you could say, his name's Aresham. He's a celestial, and he's like this huge colossal being, and he sent them to the earth to protect it. And the reason why he wants them to protect it isn't revealed at the beginning of the film. So you learn that throughout the film. So that's kind of how the story goes. So the director of this film is Chloe Zhou. She's known for directing Songs That My Brother Taught Me. She also directed this film called The Rider, and her best known film so far is Nomadland, which won 3 Academy Awards for Best Director, Best Picture, and Best Actress. I haven't really watched it yet, so I think I'm going to check it out after I finish making this video. I would like to see Nomadland in order to see the way she was directing things before she decided to go into the comic book world. A good comparison film for this one was, I guess, because they introduced a lot of characters also in one film. So you can kind of compare it to other superhero movies, superhero origin stories. You find out where they came from, and they are presented with a problem, and then they go through it to fix their problem. It's kind of a linear story, it's not very complicated. The budget for this film was $200 million, which is a pretty standard budget for a film of this size. It's part of the MCU, and it's a huge action film, so that kind of justifies the $200 million. It definitely takes advantage of the budget, and you get these beautiful CGI creations like the giant, colossal, celestial Aresham. And you also have a huge cast, and I'm pretty sure they probably had to pay a lot for Angelina Jolie. So I mean, with the $200 million, that they didn't go too overboard and just make it just like a Bayham film where like everything's just exploding out of nowhere and stuff like that. I think they really use that money to bring out the beautiful visuals. The cosmic scale of the film is a very beautiful film, in my opinion. What makes this film easy to love? So the story has a lot of potential, in my opinion. I feel like the cosmic scale of the film is really great, especially with Aresham, this huge, colossal celestial that is actually like huger than I think he's huger than like about 50 planets if you ask me. So So he finally reveals why he sent the Eternals to protect Earth, which is, spoiler, he wants to rebirth another celestial through the planet. So they had to protect it and allow the population to grow enough for the new celestial to feed off of that energy. I guess that's not really too much of a spoiler because, I mean, they say it in the first like 15 to 20 minutes of the film anyway. So that scale is really great. So you get the conflict between the Eternals serving their master versus also upholding their true mission of protecting the Earth. So do they go against the celestial that sent them there and protect the Earth, or do they follow instructions? So that's a really good story point that I like about the film. Another thing that makes the film great is I like the character Kingo. He's the one that shoots energy projectiles from his hand. I love that he brings a lot of personality to the film. He's a Bollywood actor who's kind of been around since he's immortal. He's been like reinventing himself as a dynasty of actors. So like he started off as this one actor, and I guess he faked his death, and then he came back as his son, and so on until he got to where he is today, which is a really cool thing that I like about it. Also, something that's really great about the film are the visuals. Like, you get to see, like, I feel like the cinematography is great. This doesn't like look like any other MCU movie. Like, you get those beautiful shots like on the beach and stuff like that, and you get like, and it's just a really good looking film. What can make this film hard to love? I feel like the characters are kind of one tone. Like, I really didn't find too many characters that are interesting in my opinion. The main character, Cersei, I mean, you really don't get much from her. You just basically get what her power is, and that she's in love with somebody, and that she wants to stop the Earth from being destroyed. That's the only thing you really get from her character. Like, I don't think she makes any really like defining choices in my opinion. I guess to defy Oresham, but I mean, and that really wasn't that great of a I don't feel like she was a fully developed character. To be honest, I don't feel like most of them are fully developed. Also, another thing about the film that I think would make it hard to love is that they spend a lot of time. The film is exposition heavy, so they spend a lot of time telling rather than showing, in my opinion. So like one example would be that they say the world's coming to an end, but the only really indicator of it is that they tell you there's an earthquake at the beginning of the film, and that's about it until you get to the final act of the film, and then that's when you finally see that it's really going to happen. I kind of wish that it would have had more times where it would show like ground level characters experiencing things, maybe like building up to that point rather than just having like an earthquake at the beginning and what happens at the end to define the Earth is going to be destroyed. Another example of that would be Cersei saying, my power is I can only manipulate inanimate objects. I can't manipulate living things. So I mean, I would have enjoyed that. I would have enjoyed it much better if they would have just had like a scene of her trying to manipulate, like maybe like in her early days back in one of the flashbacks, because this film has quite a bit of flashbacks. So in one of the flashbacks, maybe just have her attempting to manipulate something living and it's not working, and it doesn't work. I feel like that would have been more compelling, actually a more fascinating way to tell it rather than just her saying it. I feel like throughout the film they just were saying too much rather than finding a creative way to show the plot point. Also, something that may make it a little hard to love is, in my opinion, I don't like too many MCU movies because they're really joke heavy, and I really don't like. Well, it throws me off when we're supposed to be experiencing an emotional moment, and then I'm taken out of it by a joke or something like that. So I mean, it's not as bad as other MCU movies, like maybe like Thor Ragnarok, but it still has its fair share of jokes. So what makes it easy to love are the visuals. It has a very interesting story, and the character of Kingo was pretty cool. What can make it hard to love? It's a very exposition heavy story, so it tells more than it shows most of the time. The characters are kind of one note, and if you're not a fan of the MCU jokes, it could throw you off a little bit. It's not as bad as other films, but it does have quite a bit of jokes. So that's my prescription for you to enjoy the film. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.